Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and the SH Figuarts Shinkocchou Seihou series opened with a renewal and followed up with a debut. Demanded for years, Kamen Rider Hibiki is like the one that needed a non-Souchaku Henshin aesthetic upgrade. Between the old Hibiki and Kiva Souchaku Henshins, the taiko-drumming Oni veteran looked way more squat and weird. This was a necessity. Also, with Master Asia having come out, we need someone to be the punching bag for unreleased Figuarts stuff. And man, Wataru's face is just so punchable. The Figuarts collector world demanded a Hibiki, and to debut with the top-tier proportions of Shinkocchou Seihou, Hibiki got the good deal, man. The weird, not really supposed to be a Kamen Rider Oni suit is rendered in all its minimalist and smooth-plated glory. The belt buckle is crisply rendered, and the accessories that its buckled belt bears are all bombastically bedetailed. The metallics are sharp, the crimson gloves are punchy, but let's hit the major color factor. The iridescent purple finish all over the bodysuit. It pleases me. It feeds me. It shifts in the light and delivers a powerful premium sheen that brings this Hibiki action figure to a whole new level. Well, that and his properly shaped demon-thonged buttock sculpt. I can't linger on Oni anus forever, so let's talk head. Hibiki's heroically demonic visage looks wonderful with a red gradient running through the facial ridging and a silver to iridescent gradient emanating out of the center of where his nose would be. One of the horns on mine cracked after the figure fell forward on my desk, and while I fastened it back together with some Bondic, I no longer remember if things looked quite so asymmetrical upon close inspection. Either way, I don't remember having any complaints about what came out of the box. Maybe I should have filmed this faster. Maybe I should have filmed a lot of things faster. Figuarts Hibiki's got a ball socket joint at the top of his neck and a ball socket joint at the base of his neck. It looks great. It's supported a lot by just the design of the neck and the jawline, and like it flows together really well. There's also a ball joint in the ab, which allows for some of this wiggle, a little bit of sideways wiggle, but most of the motion in the torso is going to come from the waist joint. It's another ball joint, but it's got way more range going on. It's kind of like this is the main joint, that's the supporting joint, when on some other Figuarts releases, sometimes it's the other way around. The shoulders are ball-socketed, they can go outwards. The shoulder pad is on its own little hinge deal, so it can move up and out of the way. It's not super smooth, though, because like there is a bit of a gap in there, but depending on your angle, you might not even notice it. There's also that butterfly cup ball joint thingamadoo for some of that rotational magic. There's a bicep swivel, double-jointed elbow, and a wrist joint. It's just a normal Figuarts wrist joint, so there's a hinge and a swivel, and you can change the direction of the hinge however you want to. There are some hips on this guy, and they are not your classic Figuarts hips, much like Shinkocchou Seihou Kabuto. His hips are a full-on universal joint built into the sculpt of the body, into the sculpt of that butt, and it looks pretty good. Like, he can do some pretty good splits, he can do some pretty good kicks, and I don't feel like I'm losing anything by not being able to bend stuff down, but when you do use his leg articulation, it's not uncommon to, if you have this stuff mounted on his belt, to accidentally knock it off, because it's hanging down in the realm of space that the leg is going to take up when it's doing things like kicking, so you just gotta pop him back on, and, not start any funny business. His thigh rotations work with the plating of, the quote-unquote armor of the suit, or at least the lines of the suit. He's got a double-jointed knee, pretty good range, he's got an ankle tilt, he's got another ankle tilt, and he's got a toe joint for that toe action. So in general, Hibiki is an excellent piece of Figuarts posability. Like, there's nothing limited on him, everything works. The design of the suit means there's not that much in the way unless you have all this stuff hanging off his belt, but if you take it off, there's super nothing in the way, and even then, if it's in the way, and you just think about it a bit, you can swivel these things. I just don't think about it very much, because why would you waste your time thinking about stuff when you could be thinking about just keeping your beat? Let's kick off the accessory segment by getting up close and personal with Hibiki's belt. All three of the holsters can swap out for empty versions, which is the kind of aesthetic thing I both adore and rarely make sure to use. Sometimes it can be tricky to get those pegs into their holes, as everything's got a touch of flex, but I've also never had anything fall out without wanting to do so in the first place. Anyway, hands! Shinkocchou Seihou Hibiki's got fists, and they pop off like any regular Figuarts setup. Gone are the weird arrangements seen in the case of SS Kabuto. All the hands have got a paint wash, and I found the uniformity of coverage to be a little hit and miss. On one fist, the fingers are really defined, on the other one, they're not as much. But that aside, the first alternate pair of hands are some calmly open hands, and they sure are calm and open. The next pair are more expressive, favoring the index and middle fingers, so that Hibiki can give a little salute and a little yo. The last two pairs of hands are all made for gripping, with one pair being tight and vertical, pinching their index fingers and thumbs a little, and the other pair being more angled in their grip, designed very much for drumstick fighting. Speaking of drumsticks, let's talk about those Ongekibo Reka. They've got rings for Hibiki's index fingers. They've got translucent and unique Oni faces on their striking tips. They're proper. And if you want, you can pop the heads off and replace them with huge flaming swoosh parts. I always like to see visual effect parts packed in with a figure, even with Tamashi effects out there in the marketplace on their own. You can pop the Ongekiko off of Hibiki's belt buckle to complete the Hisatsu play pattern, though it won't balloon up in size anytime soon. While the Henshin Onsa Onkaku was folded up as a belt holster piece, the standalone version is unfurled and ready to make some noise. It is a well-rendered accessory, but I am real disappointed to find that I can't attach an animal disc to the bottom of the handle. It's one of those little things that I'd probably never use, but I feel like the presence of separate discs is otherwise kinda pointless. I mean, Hibiki can hold them, so hooray! Between the lack of a spinny disc action and the lack of an alternate head with a creepy, fire-breathing hole for a mouth, it feels like some final fit and finish is missing in the accessory loadout. But thinking up accessory features that aren't present is about all I can do as far as dropping faults on this guy. Would I buy an add-on set with fire-breathing pieces, more disc animal stuff, and a giant taiko-drummable Ongekiko? Maybe. But that's neither here, nor there, nor existing anytime soon. Rider fans have been waiting for a proper SH Figuarts Hibiki for years, and the payoff is well worth it. This is a dead solid second release in the Shinkocchou Seihou lineup, and a realization of the Hibiki suit that cuts no corners as far as the iridescent finish that I had always been preparing myself to not receive whenever the Oni finally made it to Figuarts land. While the sculpt, proportions, and articulation are all excellent on this piece, the paintwork is what truly elevates it to a high tier in the ever-growing SHF field. Hibiki is well worth your time. Anyway, this has been internet personality Vangelus, and Shinkocchou Seihou hasn't been the only place to find new and interesting stuff in the realm of Rider Figuarts delivery. Sometimes the Figuarts for a currently airing Rider series is a dice roll, driven by the need to get at least a few of the releases out there while the show's on TV. And sometimes Bandai rolls a big shiny 6.